welcome back to another episode of 5 Minutes with Jesus and Jesse. I have been working through some forgiveness lately, and I didn't even realize how many things that I carried with me until I started sharing my testimony, and a friend pointed out that I have some unforgiveness. And so I started reading Forgiving What You Can't Forget by Lisa TerKeurst, and let me tell you, this book is wrecking me. And so I just want to share a little bit of what I've learned so far because it's amazing. So I had always thought that I must forgive because God forgave me. And so I thought, yeah, 70 times 7, I get it. I understand. When people told me that I had unforgiveness and it was disobedience, I got that. Like, yeah, God calls us to forgive. I'm clearly not in a mood to forgive. And so I get that that's being disobedient with what God has called us to do. But until I read this book and until I understood this perspective, the whole forgiveness process never really made sense to me. Like, yeah, I'm sure I forgive you. I wanted to forgive, but I really just did not know how. And I really didn't understand that forgiveness is a choice and a process. And forgiveness involves your cooperating with God. And so I started asking myself, do I even know how much hurt that I'm holding on to? Because as I started reading this book, so many other situations and things came up that I'm like, I didn't even know that I had unforgiveness in my heart for that, but I'm carrying it with me. I'm still bitter about it. And so then the question comes up, do you have a desire to heal? And so I'm going to read from her book because it is so well written that I don't have anything to change or add to this. So I'm going to start reading now. I thought everything needed to be settled, and I thought that those who did wrong things would first realize that they were wrong, or at least some kind of justice would tilt my upside-down world back into place, and something about this would feel fair. Then I would consider forgiveness, and then I could possibly heal. Same thing I thought. I had to separate my healing from their choices. My ability to heal cannot depend on anyone else's choices but my own. There are only 2 recorded healing miracles of Jesus performed in Jerusalem. One was the healing of the lame man at the pool, I'm not going to try and pronounce, in John 5. And the other was the healing of the blind man at a different pool that I'm also not going to pronounce, in John 9. In both cases, their healing came after a choice they made to obey the Lord, a choice not dependent on anyone else's actions. At first, the lame man thought he needed the cooperation of other people to help him to get into the water when the angel stirred it. So when Jesus asked him, "Do you want to be healed?" the lame man's response wasn't yes. Instead, he gave Jesus an excuse based on the fact that no one would help him into the water. Isn't it amazing that the man was so focused on what others needed to do that he almost missed what Jesus could do? This challenges me on so many levels. I haven't been paralyzed like this man, but I know very much what it feels like to be unable to move forward without other people cooperating like I think they should cooperate. Jesus, however, never commented about the people on whom the paralyzed man seemed so fixated. He simply instructed him to get up, pick up his bed, and walk. The healing did not involve anyone but the paralyzed man and Jesus. End quote. My mind was so blown by this. Never once did Jesus ask or care about anyone else involved in this situation. He didn't try to even the score. He didn't find the people and try and make them apologize. He didn't punish them. He simply asked the man, "Do you want to be healed?" Reading from her book again. Similarly with the blind man, the disciples wanted to know whose actions caused the blindness. Someone needed to be blamed. Someone was at fault. Jesus blew that assumption apart. He didn't place blame or shame on anyone. He healed the man's blindness. Jesus had compassion. Jesus has the power. He didn't make healing contingent on other people doing or owning anything. He gave the instruction. The blind man obeyed. Jesus healed, and the blind man moved forward. One showed us a new way to walk. The other showed us a new way to see. End quote. I don't know about you, but at this point in this book, I'm like 30% of the way through this book. My mind is blown. I have chills, and for the first time in my life, I am understanding that forgiveness is only between me and God. It's not between me and anybody else. It's not dependent on someone coming to apologize to me or to acknowledge the fact that I think that they did something wrong. It's only between me and God. And I don't know, like that was so freeing to me that for so long I've carried around stuff thinking they should come say they're sorry, or they should at least acknowledge that what they did hurt me. And so I hold on to all of these little pieces of hurt. And at some point you forget about them, or, let it go because it's never going to change. Never once have I went to Jesus and said, I just need your healing. I don't need to hear anything about this from anybody else. It's not dependent on them. I just need you. It's contingent on my choice alone and my ability to allow Jesus to heal me. She states at the end of this example, I can heal, I can forgive, I can trust God. And none of these beautiful realities are held hostage by another person. He will equip me with all I need to do this. He will empower me to do what he instructs. And so I run towards the forgiveness God commands. Only then will I find the healing peace that he offers.